What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for stopping by the channel. Many of you know I wrote a book. The name of it is Like Mother, Like Daughter, a guide for the daughters of Zion. You can check it out on Amazon, on Kindle, and paperback. I'll leave the link down below in the description box. So many of you have already hit me up and told me how much it's been a blessing to your life. I'm enjoying hearing your testimonies. Keep sending them over to me. You can contact me or reach me on Facebook at Shine Bright. I'll put that link down below. But the reason why I came on today, guys, I wanted to show you this article that I ran across, and you guys could Google it. It's called Poor Neighborhoods in U.S. Cities Are Often Hotter Due to Racist Housing Laws of the Past. All right, so this actually took place in North Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm just going to pull out some highlights for you guys. So this neighborhood is one of the hottest neighborhoods in the city. The temperatures are around here can be about 10 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than the city's cool areas, according to analysts published earlier in 2020, putting at risk the health and safety of the neighborhood's residents, about half of them whom are Black. Now, this disparity is not an accident. The heat shimmering around this neighborhood is a result of over a century of explicitly and implicitly racist and exclusionary city planning decisions at both the local and national level. So a recent study found that in more than 100 American cities and neighborhoods that were redlined in 1930s, and I'll talk to you about redline in a minute, that today they're an average about 4.7 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than unredlined neighborhoods in the city. Formerly redlined neighborhoods, which are still primarily filled with Black and brown communities, these families face heat stresses now that foreshadow the ones climate scientists say will strike the more affluent parts of Minneapolis and other cities in the decades in the future. So the hotter it gets, the hotter these neighborhoods are going to get. So heat today is an indicator for what went wrong in the past. Now, I thought this was interesting, guys. I don't know if you all have heard about it. Leave your comments down below. But redlining and other discriminatory policies have shaped the distribution, not just of cooling trees and hot pavement, but also the location of freeways, factories, and other factors that affect health in today's urban landscape. So let's go down. And they say scientists have long known about this. So in any city, hotspots appear where concrete, asphalt prevail, while cool zones emerge around with trees, parks, or other open space. Dark space surfaces like paved roads or tar-covered rooftops readily absorb heat from the sun. They also tend to hold on to that heat more tightly than natural materials like loose dirt or plants, which makes sense. Big, densely clustered buildings do the same. Once heated up, they release the heat only, slowly into the surrounding area like a hot, stale breath. Trees and plants, on the other hand, cool cities down. Their leaves reflect away some incoming solar heat and shade the ground below. Their roots also suck water from the ground and eventually release it to the air in a process called Evap Transpiration. The energy to vaporize the water comes from the heat in the air, which leaves the left behind air cooler. So basically, when you see all these paved roads, all these highways, and less trees, they're basically saying these areas have more heat. It makes the heat index go up higher. And if you think about some of the neighborhoods where a lot of the low income housing is in those areas where it's just pavement. You see little to no trees. And so that's what they're basically getting at here in the article. So let's get to this next section. It's called Covenants, Redlining, and Their Legacy. Now, I think this word covenant is very an interesting, choice of words, but let's go. Redlining is a colloquial term for a practice introduced in the 1930s as the federal government struggled to revive the U.S. economy during the Great Depression. Government leaders wanted to help homeowners who were facing default on their mortgages or otherwise wouldn't be able to afford houses, so they developed a state-sponsored lending program, which was called the Homeowners Loan Corporation, or HOLC, that could issue mortgages. So the HOLC hired real estate agents to map areas within the cities where loans would be safe, places where property values would stay high, protecting the government's investment. Now, at this time, the ethics code, they wanted to maintain and promote neighborhood segregation in the interest of racial harmony. That's what they called it. So the HOLC maps were created with the explicit intention of keeping some neighborhoods white. Now, before there was a national policy encouraging and enabling housing segregation, local scale strategies had taken root. Racially explicit covenants prohibiting a property sale to non-white buyers, and that happened across the country. And then here it talks about some of the class of people that, weren't able to get the home loans. And so we know about that. But my purpose in bringing out this article was about the fact that some of the health conditions that's coming from these areas. So Minneapolis has one of the largest temperature disparities between formerly redline neighborhoods. So those same redline neighborhoods now are the neighborhoods that they're seeing that have the heat, right? And so here you have some other cities in the U.S., some other places, Portland, Oregon, Denver, Colorado, had the biggest differences with temperature differentials over 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And here goes some more. So that's Portland, Denver, Minneapolis. Here's Jacksonville, Florida. Now, Florida is already hot. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Philadelphia, Louisville, Kentucky, Baltimore, Maryland. You have Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina. So according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, heat kills more than 700 people each year in the U.S. And some studies show that it's actually 10 times more. So what happens when it's so hot in these areas, it actually affects the health. So that's why you see a lot of hypertension and heart disease. And even the medications that you would take for these things, they disrupt the body's ability to control its internal temperature. So here you are, they've organized it in such a way that the neighborhoods that these people are in would be extremely hot, and then they give you the medication, and the medication actually doesn't help you regulate the temperature. It actually makes it go higher. So you wonder why all of our people with all this, I mean, not to say that the food is not having an impact on this, but there are other outside things that are happening that's causing these people to have high blood pressure. Just a few degrees of heat during an extreme event or even the longer term can push people past health thresholds into dangerous territory, says Catherine Harrison, a public health specialist. Now, for example, in 1995 in Chicago, Illinois, the heat wave killed over 700 people, primarily elderly people of color who live without air conditioning in the hottest parts of the city. I mean, we have air conditioning now, but it's just going to show you that, what was hid in the dark always comes to light. Now, by 2025, as we even here, we're going to be seeing a lot more heat waves. You hear that? So they know it's going to get hotter. And days above 90, says Eric a planner with the Twin Cities, and that's in Chicago. So they're saying by 2025 it's going to be extremely hotter. So these people in these neighborhoods basically don't even stand a chance. And then also here it's saying that there's no funding for climate change related to heat adaptation. So when we see them online, they're doing all these, you know how they're doing all these things for climate change. You got to do this for climate change, but they don't have anything to make changes in these neighborhoods. They don't have any funds available. So basically, and then with the COVID-19 running around, you know, they're just saying that this is just making the situation worse. And one of the people from the neighborhood was saying it's two kinds of heat we're facing: the heat of racism and of temperature. I mean, everything that's in the dark is coming to light now. I mean, if it's not bad enough, the things that they put in the food and, you know, all the other things they do, you know, in the medical field. And now you're seeing that they orchestrated the engineering, the building set up to make places more hotter to burn us out. I mean, it's not funny, but I mean, like, when the word says these people conspired against us, man, it is so real. You guys, anyway, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. If you've heard about this, let me know. This is my first time hearing about them, you know, building in such a way to make places hotter. Like, I didn't know about that. I knew about redlining, but I did not know about this. Anyway, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. Shalom.